Hello guys, welcome back with me again, Kerinna, and today we're gonna learn about present simple tense. Simple present or basically refer to the same thing, simple present tense. Present simple tense is the base form of the verb. So we use the verb 1 or the basic form of the verb to make simple present tense. For example, I work in London. But with the third person singular, or like he, she, or it, we add an s or es for the verb. For example, she works in London. Next, I want you to look at this present simple question. And the first one is, do you play the piano? Second, where do you live? Third, do Jane and Stacy live in New York? And the last is, does Harry play football? For from all of these questions, I want you to note that we use do and does to make present simple question, but with the third person singular, we use does and do for the others, like that. So let's continue to the next question form. I want you to look at all of this question carefully, and maybe I'm gonna read it one by one so you can understand it. So the first, where do Susan and Ray live? What does Ron do? When does Hermione usually get up? Who lives in New York? Who plays football at the weekend? Who works at the hospital center? And I want you note that we use do and does to make simple present questions with questions words like where, what, and when. But with question words who, we don't use do and does. So we have to add an s or es on the verb. Like in here, who lives in New York? Who lives in New York? Who plays football at the weekend? Who works at the hospital center? Like that. Okay, let's continue to the present simple negatives. I want the thing that you have to keep in your mind is that we use doesn't for the third person singular, like he, she, or it, and we use don't for the others. So if we want to make present simple negatives with the subject I, you, they, or we have to use doesn't. But when we want to make sentence with the subject he, she, it, we have to use don't. Understand? So here are the example. I like tennis, but I don't like football. So I is the first person singular. Like in here, I don't live in London now. I don't play the piano, but I play the guitar. They don't work at the weekend. In here, John is the third person singular, which is referred to he. So we have to use doesn't to make the present simple negatives. So it becomes John doesn't live in Manchester. Angela doesn't drive to work. Like that. So let's continue to the next slide. We use the present simple to talk about something that is true in the present. Like I am a 19 years old girl, or you are a student. She lives in London, like that. Second, something that happens regularly in the present. For example, I play football every weekend. I eat bacon every morning, like that. And the last is something that is always true. For example, like the human body contains 206 bones, or maybe light travels at almost 3,000 kilometers per second. Next, we often use adverbs of frequency like sometimes, always, and never with the present simple. For example, I sometimes go to the cinema with my mom and dad. I never play football. Thank you. If you have any question, you have in here Kerinna Oktavia 10 at gmail.com, and here is the reference if you want to study more about present simple tense. I think that's all I'm gonna saying. So thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.